It's like church. Everybody participate. Good morning. Good morning. Amen. Amen. My name is Brian Davis. I'm a board member for Arkansas Advocacy for Children and Families, and I want to welcome you to our annual Friends of Children Luncheon. Give it up for yourselves. Good to see you in person. Of course, last year, which seems oddly enough to have melted into this year, we met virtually. Thought it was nice. But we're happy to be back in person today. My grandmother always says that it's good to lay eyes on people, and so I'm glad to lay eyes on you and pass the peace with you today. But I also want to welcome our guests who are joining virtually. Hey guests joining virtually. This is not a microphone, by the way. It's a very high-tech camera with a wide shot. Brooke told me. And they're all in that camera. You all say hi to our guests. Hi. A little bit more enthusiastic, say hello to our guests virtually. Really accepted. But we're glad you're here. Today's event will be a tad bit different than the normal luncheon. One difference is that I was given a script. Yeah, Senator Elliott clapped loudly for that. She knows why. You know, extemporaneous is only for preaching. I won't be here for long. But so we can be safe as possible. We're kicking off the program right now. And after we celebrated our honorees, we'll have lunch. You'll have an opportunity to enjoy learning about these three honorees, and we'll finish right at 12:30 so you can eat while it's still lunchtime. You're invited to take your lunch and go to a corner and eat it, like I might do. Or you're invited to bring your lunch back to your table and sup with your friends. So there'll be box lunches. You'll be able to pick up salads or sandwiches. They are from, should have asked this before. It's a great place, I assure you though. And we do ask that you keep your mask on if you're not eating or drinking. And I'm drinking coffee, so, and Dr. Romero said I can do it. So let's get started with today's event. Sister Brothers, Arkansas Advocacy's mission is to ensure that all children and families have the resources, the opportunities they need to lead healthy, productive lives and to realize their full potential. We want that for every child. Our staff involves themselves in the research and the analysis on the data of the well-being of children and families and the impact of public policies. We work with partners statewide and nationally and make independent policy recommendations with no agenda. No agenda beyond what the data, and I can't emphasize more, what the data and research shows us is best. A message for this age, amen? We make sure that kids have a voice at the state capitol. We make sure that children and families have a voice in Washington, D.C., and we want to make sure that the needs of kids are our top priority. I'd even add that we don't have a future as a state outside of the children that we're raising. You're doing your part. You're doing your part by being here to help us celebrate, and you can also support Arkansas Advocates with the gift. I invite you to text your gift, take out your phones, wave them in the air, like you just don't get it. We're not, or keep me in your pocket. But take them out when you're ready to text them, no pressure. I'll be coming around to each table. Text your gift, the instructions are in the program. All you have to do is text ADVOCATE, ADVOCATE, to 243-725, and then from there, click away on the link. Or, if in your mind it is 1976, you may write a check. And a staff member will come by and get it with gold-rimmed offering trays. Beyond that, you're invited to go online to the World Wide Web, Al Gore's invention, and to make your gift there. Siblings, the children of our state need us, and today we honor 3 deserving Arkansans who've answered the clarion call to lift up our children. Arkansans like JoAnn Nalley, give it up please. Arkansans like Dr. José Romero. I told Dr. Romero that he's one of the most recognizable faces in my household. and Arkansans like Ronda Sanders. Friends, these three individuals are making, to state the obvious, and perhaps to understate, they're making lives better in Arkansas for children, and making our state stronger. Because of them, we can envision a brighter future. I'd like to further recognize some people who made today's event possible. We're pleased to recognize our corporate sponsors, and I'm going to ask you to hold your applause, and if y'all like church folks, you won't do it anyway. So it's in the script. Until they are all announced. Arkansas Children's, I almost said Arkansas Children's Hospital. I forgot that it's rebranding. Arkansas Children's is a foundation, and there are other parts to it. Not disrespect. Arkansas Children's. Good. Arkansas Hospital Association, the Arkansas Minority Health Commission, Delta Dental of Arkansas, Entergy Arkansas, the Methodist Foundation for Arkansas, and Doctors Becky and Gary Wheeler. If you'll give them all a round of applause for their generous sponsorship at today's event. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your honoring of the work of Arkansas Advocacy for Children and Families. Again, as listed in your program and running on the screen, you'll find today's Friends of Children and table sponsors. Let's give it up for those who saw fit to sponsor table sponsors. Thank you so much for your support. Wouldn't be here without you. Siblings, this past year and a half, we've had to learn how to work and live differently. Again, an understatement of understatements. We've done so many things virtually. And that thing by itself makes it really nice to be here, to see you all in person. But as much misery, maybe, I don't know, as the pandemic brought, it also resulted in some good public policy solutions we hope will become permanent. For example, at the federal and state levels, we've seen more investment in kids, from the expanded child tax credit to funding for after-school programs in universal school. You can clap for that. Universal school years. And there's an increased awareness of how public policy decisions have hurt Arkansas's communities of color. We never, I repeat, never want to repeat a pandemic. Nobody in 1918 was like, oh, we can do this again. But certainly we've learned what will help guide policy decisions toward a more equitable future. Each year, friends, Arkansas Advocates honors the work of Arkansans whose work on behalf of children is exemplary, both in impact and in scope. The recipients of this honor have included public officials, community leaders, philanthropists, and advocates, each one committed to improving the well-being of Arkansas children and Arkansas families, because, as my grandmother also says, children don't wake up out of a cabbage patch to come into your schools, they come from families. Or do they? The Friends of Children Award honors those who have made ensuring opportunities for children central to their life's work and personal mission. And each of today's honorees have dedicated their professional and personal lives to leveling the playing field so that all of our children, page turn, have the resources and opportunities they need to succeed and thrive. Now let's celebrate the contributions of this year's incredible honorees. You can read their bios, of course, in the programs. Some of you seem to know your husband when you came. You can, but actually, let's do this. We invited a few people who know them well to tell you a bit more about them in a series of short videos. First up, JoAnn Nalley.
It's hard getting one in this state for me. It's hard getting one in this state for me. But you know, sometimes it's all the way to Texas County. Oh, so what? It's not part of Texas County. Not when you're going down there to train teachers that are gonna be working with young children. They're gonna make a difference in their lives. Easy try.
JoAnn's improved the lives of children in Arkansas in countless ways. I think it probably started as an educator, working directly with children, and then after some time, probably understanding that she could have a bigger impact on more children, more families, if she supported educators who are working with children.
She is known throughout the state. She is known throughout the region and the nation. Everyone knows JoAnn Nalley. So I asked some of our colleagues what they thought about JoAnn. Working with JoAnn is just exhilarating and motivating. And she is so knowledgeable, capable, empathetic, and caring. She's politically astute, a trailblazer, many people said, a tireless advocate, a professional role model, and a loyal friend.
So part of her, many parts, but one of the parts I most aspire to be more like JoAnn when I grow up is the kind of leader that JoAnn is.
She has worked to create change for Head Start, for pre-K, for kindergarten, for classroom teachers, directors, and owners. She has just gone above and beyond with her work and has influenced so many people over the years.
In the late 60s, when Arkansas didn't have a kindergarten, there was a grant, and she stepped up to the plate and said she'd do it. And so that's how she became one of the first kindergarten teachers in the state.
Thank you for your leadership, for your guidance, for being a mentor to me and to so many others in the field. So from all of your colleagues in the state and out of the state too, we wish you well. We say congratulations to you, and JoAnn, we think you are the rock star for children and families.
JoAnn, I want to tell you how grateful I am for knowing you most of my adult life, for paving the way for work, and to be a working mom doing that work. And the families and children of Arkansas that don't know you should be grateful to you, but I certainly know their lives. So thanks.
You know, Arkansas Advocacy has been the leaders. They've been the strong institution that have been behind all of this change with children and families. They've always been there. They've been that strong support. They are the key to good legislation. But, you know, I had to think about the people that influenced me. Dr. Mildred Bennett, she really made me stop and think. We needed kindergarten. So off the little rock she drags me. We're driving up to the Capitol, and we're on the Capitol grounds, and I listened to her in that firm voice, the way she told him, this is what we've got to get done. So her strong leadership led me to think, we've got to get some things done. But the reason that we were doing this is because we wanted to help children, and we wanted to help families. One thing I learned a long time ago, each of us can make a difference. So through our partnerships and our collaborations, through our positive attitude, we can all work together to bring about the change that we need for children and families.
He knows I just had knee surgery. Well, gosh. So, Mr. Davis, is that the gentleman that was just here that had his script, and I've got my own script too? Not more than 4 or 5 pages, so I hope you all have clear. Gosh, why recognition. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I am so thrilled, Rich. Thank you so much. But you know the thing about it is every bit of this journey and every bit of the trail brought me joy. And I'm getting an award. I'm being recognized for the joy. It is so exciting. And to think that I am here with Ronda Sanders and Dr. Romero, it's such an honor for me to be here with you two distinguished guests. I used to think about things that took place in my life, how lucky I was. How lucky I was to be able to work with children and families. How lucky I was to be able to train teachers. Back in the early 60s when we started Head Start and training those teachers, watching those teachers that were maybe paraprofessionals, began to get their CDA, they got their AA, and they got their BSc. The joy it brought me in seeing them be able to grow. I think about my journey. It's not just with early childhood, but it's with out of school time. And how far we've come with out of school time. We're recognized today. We're recognized because of the leadership that we have under childhood services. But other people had a little bit to do with it too. The joy that I've gotten through the years from the ASU family, always supporting me and always being there, has made me more than grateful. This joy, the joy that I had with my staff over there, watching them just start off with, we only had two staff members, and now we have over 280. But watching them grow, watching them become national leaders with editors and conscious discipline, with out of school time, with powerful interactions. But all of that took place under the leadership of Diana Corson and Story Williams, my key staff there. But being able to see that staff grow, being able to present nationally, being able to collect data nationally, and all these different groups refer to them. It's joy for me. It's joy for me. It wasn't a job, it was joy. And now I think back, years ago, when we started with Head Start, we turned a refrigerator from a cardboard box, just an old cardboard box. We had no materials out there in that beginning, but we made it all work. But one thing I have to tell y'all is a story about my greatest joy. We were in the gallery just down from the house. We were on edge. It was the last day of the session. And we knew really, was our bill going to get passed? Was our ABC bill going to get passed? Well, I'm sitting by this good looking man. And he was up there in the house with me, and then all of a sudden, they passed our bill. They passed our ABC bill. And when they did, we ran down to the Senate, and then they passed our ABC Senate bill. But when I was seated in that seat, who was sitting next to me? Rich Olsen. Rich Olsen was there. Arkansas Advocacy was there. Arkansas Advocacy was always there in the halls, helping work for children and families. It didn't matter whether we were there for a committee meeting. It didn't matter whether we were at a reception. It didn't matter whether it was a small one-pager or the data or the reports. It all came from Arkansas Advocacy. And I'm so humbled, Arkansas Advocacy, for this award. I thank you so much. I am so grateful. Thank you.
next honoree has quickly become a fixture in public life. As we navigated the pandemic, we all felt like we got to know Dr. José Romero very intimately. In his role as Arkansas Secretary of Health, he's shown up in our lives regularly, daily actually. At the governor's press briefings, Dr. Romero is a trusted advisor to many, whether he's acting in his role as a member of the governor's cabinet or providing scientific leadership in the Department of Health, or in his role as a pediatrician working with children and families. He is nationally recognized as a leader in pediatric infectious diseases, and we are fortunate that he chooses to call Arkansas home. Check this video out.
For me, I probably couldn't get into medical school nowadays because my essay would be, I just want to help you, which is really the reason why I went into medical school. That really has been driving me forward, that care of people, making their lives better, improving the life of the child that's in front of me. I really think has been the driving force behind my career.
I've worked with Jose for many years on areas of pediatric infectious diseases, where he assisted the Arkansas Department of Health. I also worked with him together on the Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices with the CDC.
I've known Jose for almost 15 years. He came to Arkansas to take over the infectious disease program for me at the Children's Hospital.
There are very, very few who have his diversity of scientific and medical background, but also together with a really wonderful and kind person who really cares for children.
Jose's lived in a lot of different places. He was born in Mexico, raised in California, did a lot of his training in New York and Colorado, and in Nebraska, and then came to Arkansas with this vast array of experiences and perspectives. And I think that's given him insights that have contributed so much to the positive directions that he's brought in his role as Secretary of Health.
Working on things like pediatric HIV, pediatric tuberculosis, to his work in vaccinations, immunization.
He's got an incredible sense of justice, and I think that's driven a lot of his work to make sure that all kids in Arkansas got the health care that they deserve.
Both his leadership within the state and his national and international leadership have made a profound impact on improving the lives of the children everywhere.
He brought the children's eye to that role and has always been the #1 defender of kids in making sure that they got the care, diagnostics, and treatment they needed during this pandemic.
As a friend, a colleague, parent of a patient, I appreciate his incredible knowledge and his energy. Now, I had a conversation with my daughter earlier this morning about what she likes about Dr. Romero, who she considers the best doctor in the world. She said really the fact that he's understandable.
Well, Jose, it's been great to be a friend of yours for the last few years. And I want to thank you for being an enormous friend of the children of Arkansas. You've made incredible contributions to the health of our next generations, and we're all deeply grateful for that. Thank you so much.
Jose, job well done. Thank you for all that you've done for the children of Arkansas, for the children of the United States, and for the children of the world. It's an honor and a privilege to call you as a colleague and a friend, so thank you for all you do.
Public health to me has been an extension of being a physician. As a physician, you want to make the life for somebody better. You want to improve their situation. When you work with families, you give them a better life, to help the family and the child. That is extremely rewarding. And I've been very lucky. I mean, I've always said that to students and to undergraduates that, you know, I've had many careers in the course of my academic lifetime. Thank you, people of Arkansas, for allowing me to contribute in some way to your health and well-being.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. José Romero.
So thank you all very, very much. I've been warned by my chief of staff and my director of comms to keep this short, so I will do so.
You better receive your award.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. First of all, let me thank Dr. Wheeler for those very, very kind words and for nominating me. The members of the board of the AACF and the officers of AACF for allowing me to receive this award and for acknowledging what little work I've done for our community. These things are difficult for me. I'm not someone who likes to be up in the spotlight, but I'll tell you that I'm humbled, honored to have received this award. It was totally unexpected. I want to say that I'm blessed. I'm blessed because I've had the opportunity to impact and been given the opportunity to impact on so many lives. Not just the 3.1 million Arkansans that are here that through my work as Secretary of Health and Director of the Arkansas Department of Health, but also through my work through ACIP, the CDC, I hope I've been able to make small changes for their betterment. The AACF has many of the values that I hold true. That is, this is a policy-driven, data-driven institution. I try to live by policy, I make my policy by scientific data. I try to be the voice of children and have tried to be the voice of children. One of the reasons I went into pediatrics was because I believed early on that a single intervention in a child's life could lead to a lifelong betterment, whether that's through treatment or through a simple administration of a vaccine. And that has been my carrying premise through the rest of my life. It's an honor to share this stage with Ms. Sanders and Ms. Nalley. I pale in comparison to their accomplishments and welcome the opportunity to share this standing. Lastly, it's not lost on me that I am a person of color, that I am an individual from an underrepresented minority, and that I hope, I don't like to use the word role model because I think that's a terrible statement, but I hope that people, that children will look on the TV someday or see me down the street and say, I can do what he does.
Thank you, Dr. Romero. Thank you for, all jokes aside, thank you, honestly, for, the expertise. That's an odd thing to say, but thank you for the expertise. But honestly, thank you for the expertise that you brought to the recruitment training for doing it with applause under the circumstances. Thank you kindly. Friends, our next honoree is a fearless leader. Always glad to take on the challenge, always glad to lead by example. Ronda Sanders has been recognized for the impact her advocacy efforts have had on public policy to assist people facing hunger. Imagine that, the richest, most prosperous nation in the world, hunger. Under her leadership, the Arkansas Food Bank strives for better and more efficient ways to acquire, to store, and to deliver food to those they serve. The food bank has grown its capacity to manage fresh produce and continues to increase the nutritious foods available to clients. Ronda Sanders is also a past staff member with Arkansas Advocacy for Children and Families, which makes this recognition even more special for our organization. If you'll direct your attention to the screen, ladies and gentlemen, Ronda Sanders.
I love people, I love helping, I love serving. And when I get to see some fruits of that, it just makes me want to go out and do it all again.
Well, what's not to love about Rhonda? I've known Rhonda probably over the course of 2 decades. I've seen her work in the field, helping others. I mean, she is the quintessential servant leader.
She was one of the adult sponsors in her church for the youth group. She's volunteered in numerous capacities. She's dedicated beyond default to the things that she believes in and the people she believes in.
It's just natural. She goes, head first into a school board race, wins, serves on the school board there in Bryant for many years, and then now she's on the city board itself. And a lot of people say, well, how does she do it? Are you surprised? I'm not surprised at all. That's just who Rhonda is.
The thing that I'm very proud of, and I think really everything she did in her career led up to the job that she's in right now as the CEO of the Arkansas Food Bank. There just couldn't have been a better match.
And she's helped lead so many people and so many groups towards helping with food insecurity and hunger issues.
She has just a sense that we can do better, and that the will that it takes, and it means rolling up your sleeves, getting dirty, and making good things happen for others.
She was so sincere about what she's doing and why she's doing it. She's not working for Rhonda. She's not working to help elevate herself.
Rhonda, getting the Friend of Children Award is well deserved. I am proud to call you my friend. I'm glad we've had so many opportunities to work together to fulfill the things that we both believe in for the children of Arkansas. I love you.
I'm grateful for our friendship, and just know that you are loved and appreciated and valued. And thank you for all you do for Arkansans to help lift them up.
Mom and Dad always taught us to give back. They always had a lot of people in and out of the house that they were helping. And so I grew up seeing service. I grew up seeing people love each other and love others who were different. When I came to Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families many years ago, I found my calling. I found out where my upbringing and now my professional career mixed. I think it's that moment when you do get to see difference being made, when you do put the food in someone's car that needs it, or when you get the note when you go to a pantry and you hear that someone came in that day and said, I've got a job, I'm not going to need your services anymore. When you see kids being fed, those are the moments that let you know, I want to keep doing. I want to keep adding to whatever it is that I can do to make a difference.
Please welcome our founder, Ronda Sanders.
Believe it or not, I don't do these moments well, like Romero. I'm not afraid of public speaking, I just always don't like it to be about me. But looking at each of you, I have to thank Arkansas Advocates, Rich, my board, all the people who have given me the opportunities in life to do what I do. A friend recently shared this quote from William Faulkner with me. Said, you cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. As I thought about what I wanted to say today, that kept coming back to me. It resonated with me, and I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts from there. First, I owe this award to all of the people that have challenged me, encouraged me, and empowered me to be brave and to lose sight of the shore.
That's my parents, my husband Rick, and many of you in this room right here. You taught me to embrace change, to look to what can be, and to find the courage to let go and move forward. Second, it once again made me realize that the accomplishments I have been able to experience are not always easy to do. For those who may be struggling with staying awake on their job because they're working multiple jobs to make ends meet. They're worried about what they'll be able to eat for dinner or what they'll be able to feed their child. They're concerned that they can't pay for their child's medicine without missing a rent payment. Having a vision of a new horizon can be clouded. And letting go of the little you have to lose sight of that shore is nearly impossible. So I, like everyone else here, want every child to have the support and courage to reach for their new horizons, to change the story of their life, leave the cycle of poverty and insufficiency behind. But just like me and you, we can't do it alone. They need role models, encouragers, advocates, and difference makers. That's why we're here today. It really isn't about applauding me or Dr. Romero or JoAnn Nalley. It's a chance, though, to spotlight and to celebrate how each of us can make a difference for a child and their family. We're here to inspire each other to do more, to recognize the value of what we each do every single day, and to challenge ourselves to never settle for mediocrity and to seize every day as another opportunity. It is said that Luke Holtz uses this team prayer every day before every game. This is the beginning of a new day. God has given me this day to use it as I will. I can waste it, or I can use it for good. But what I do today is important because I'm changing. I'm exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving in its place that which I have traded. I want it to be gain, not loss, good, not evil, success, not failure. I know I shall not regret the price I have paid for it, because the future is just a whole string of nows. So if there's anything I can say to you that's of value, it's that the challenge is great, the prize is priceless, and today is our chance to trade for something valuable. May we all use this day. May we all use it to make it possible for a child to swim to new horizons and lose sight of the shore. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, each and every one of you, Dr. Romero, JoAnn Nalley, for the inspiration, for the gifts that you have each given to make this day something special for all of our children. Thank you.
That felt like a really centering moment, at least for me, for the charge. There should be some level of conviction in the room. Don't lose sight of the shore. I wrote that down. Thank you, Ronda Sanders. And thank you to each of you. Thank you to each of our honorees. Again, if we could give them a round of applause. JoAnn Nalley, José R, Ronda Sanders, for making the health and well-being of Arkansas's future generations a priority of your life's work. priority of your life. Now I'd like to invite Rich Olsen, Executive Director of Arkansas Advocacy, to the stage. And while we wait for Rich, I understand that there have been some technical difficulties. Apparently, Wi-Fi is not great, and you've been texting money. You really want to get up off that money, and I don't want to get in your way. Break bread, if you will. So what I want you to do is get off the Wi-Fi and use your unlimited plan. Use that. That'll work. Or I want to apologize for the spirit of those who use checks. We need those now. I was just kidding. Love a check, man. Love to have it. Break those out too. Or you can go to the Arkansas Advocacy site and you can give that back. It's a little less convenient, but I don't think you all mind a little inconvenience for the sake of the movement of this great organization and those we honor today. So you can keep trying, but probably get off the Wi-Fi and use a little bit of that plan. Okay. Now, Rich Olsen. Oh, he's here. I went over my time. He's already here. We're waiting on this. He's right there. Rich Olsen, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for him. Arousing.
Thank you, Ryan. Of course, I violated my first rule, is that you never follow up a preacher when you're getting ready to present. It's just not a good recipe. So, like Ryan said, I'm Rich Olsen, Executive Director for Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families. And I'm happy to be with all of you here today. Thank you, Dr. Romero, JoAnn and Rhonda, for being our honorees today, and for the time and energy you have committed to children and families throughout your lives and your careers in public service. And thanks to all of you in the audience today for all that you do to make sure that all of our kids have what they need to lead healthy and productive lives and realize their full potential. I want to take a moment to recognize the Arkansas Advocates Board of Directors. This group provides governance and guidance to our organization, and they work hands-on to set our strategic and legislative priorities. It is through their expertise, insight, and vision that our advocacy work remains targeted, relevant, and strong. You've already met Ryan Davis, and you'll meet our current board president, Dr. Gary Wheeler, in a few minutes. But I would like all of the Arkansas Advocates board members who are in attendance today, some are actually attending virtually, but for all those in attendance today, I would ask that you stand. So that we can recognize your great work. So if you're a board member for Arkansas Advocates, please stand. On behalf of the staff, we thank you for your service to this organization. We are also fortunate on the Advocates to have an incredibly talented staff. If you are on the staff of Arkansas Advocates, please stand so that folks can see who you are and so we can acknowledge your hard work and commitment to the organization. Staff, please stand. And to those of you in the room today who hold elected office or are currently running for elected office, if you will please stand so that we can acknowledge you and see who you are, and just to let you know that from the staff of the Board of Arkansas Advocates, we greatly appreciate your commitment to public service. So again, if you're an elected official or running for office, please stand. I've been asked to make a few comments about the past year, in the coming year, but I will try and keep my comments brief so we can get you out of here on time. As most of you know, the past state legislative session was the most challenging legislative session Arkansas Advocates and our partners have ever faced. The COVID-19 pandemic caused many challenges for our state partners and our local advocates, many of whom are still dealing with COVID-related challenges or the aftermath of the pandemic in their own organizations, in their own homes and families, and in their communities. And the pandemic imposed major restrictions on how we can interact with policymakers both inside and outside of the state capitol, and had a significant impact on the ability of child advocates throughout the state to engage and ultimately influence policymakers this past legislative session. The pandemic also changed how advocates and our allies had to work together in an attempt to engage policymakers this session. We had to rely on a virtual and online strategy much more than ever before. And while advocacy groups definitely upped their online advocacy game this session, as you can tell by all the social media posts and all the emails that you received this past session, and this should give us more hope for the future, I think this time around it clearly was not enough to overcome the many challenges we faced this session. But it wasn't just the challenges that we faced at the Capitol brought about by the pandemic. There were also major challenges that were compounded by the backlash in the Arkansas legislature against the big events that happened nationally over the past year and a half. There was a legislative backlash against the protests against racism and efforts to stop police violence against communities of color, and against the national call for greater equity. There were unprecedented attacks on voting rights because of how the national elections turned out. And there was a continued backlash against poor people and safety net programs by certain segments of the legislature. And of course, there were the attacks against public health and economic measures designed to protect the health and economic well-being of our citizens during the pandemic. And that continues today. And of course, all of this got politicized. It was a major factor in the legislation that we faced this past year's legislative session. It seemed like everything we cared about was under attack this session, and we had to play defense like we never had to play before. And so the issue was not trying to pass major new initiatives, but quite frankly, just to hold on to what we had and to fight off a lot of bad legislation that was proposed in some circles. And there are new challenges on the horizon. During the special session that will likely occur in the next couple of weeks, there will be an effort to cut income taxes that will disproportionately benefit the rich and possibly corporations, a move that will take hundreds of millions of dollars out of the state budget for programs that help children and families. And you will likely see more efforts to do this after a new governor is elected in 2022. Of course, in the coming weeks, there will be a battle of redistricting and the drawing of legislative districts that can have a profound impact on who gets elected in the years to come and their support for programs that would help children and families. And in 2022, there will be a proposed constitutional amendment put before the voters that, if approved, would make it more difficult to pass citizen-initiated ballot measures that have the potential to help children and families, such as recent ballot measures that passed that raised the minimum wage and improved the economic well-being for Arkansas workers and their families. It's a lot of bad news, a lot of challenges, I know, but the good news is that there are opportunities and reasons to be optimistic. First, advocacy groups, as I said earlier, advocacy groups really uplined their online advocacy and their organizing game this past session. And I see this only continuing in the future. In a world that is becoming much more virtual every single day, the ability to continue to get better in this area will only make our advocacy work stronger as we work to affect the hearts and minds of not only our state policymakers, but our constituents, especially in rural areas. Second, women and young people, especially people of color, are more and more becoming a fundamental and powerful force for change in politics and in advocacy at the state capitol. This trend will not only help us in our efforts to get more voices to the table in our advocacy work, but will eventually change who gets elected to office in the years ahead. I'm just convinced of that. And finally, despite the backlash that we saw against the racial equity movement in this past legislative session, the force of this movement, I think, is unstoppable. It is only going to continue to grow in the future, a trend that ultimately will lead to better public policies that are grounded in race equity for the future. So what does all this mean in terms of priorities that you will see from Arkansas Advocates as we take on these new challenges and opportunities? Well, equity will continue to drive our advocacy work on behalf of Arkansas children and families. The focus on equity really does help align our mission and our stated values with our policy and advocacy work, both internally and externally. And because we recognize, as I'm sure all of you do, that structural inequity has been embedded in our nation and in our state's culture for hundreds of years and has had a lasting effect, as seen today in our laws, our public policies, and ultimately the disparities in children's outcomes across race and other identities. If our work is to result in true policy change that improves equity and helps all children and families thrive and succeed in Arkansas, it must be much more intentional in tearing down the obstacles that prevent groups and children and families of color from succeeding. This means we must do better at making the need for race equity a conscious priority that is front and center in the minds of voters and our state policymakers and their constituents. Now, what does this mean in terms of the issues that we're going to be focusing on? Several. One of our priorities will be promoting state tax budget and family economic security policies that ensure adequate funding in the state budget for critical programs serving children and families and that directly improve their economic well-being. Two, we'll continue to fight for policies that improve child and family health by expanding access to coverage and access to quality health care services through Medicaid, Our Kids First, our state Medicaid expansion, and other provisions in the Affordable Care Act. Three, advocating for research-proven policies in early childhood education and child care, especially in high-quality infant care and toddler care, and in K-12 education that promotes education equity and helps to close achievement gaps for low-income students, students of color, English language learners, and students with special education needs. A particular area of emphasis in education in our work will be to push the state to develop a much more comprehensive strategy to help close equity gaps that we know grew during the pandemic. That has to be done. And continuing to push for reforming punitive school disciplinary policies that are at the beginning of the school-to-prison pipeline that disproportionately impacts far too many of our low-income students and students of color. And of course, protecting funding for public schools. Four, continue to reform in the juvenile justice system to improve the well-being and long-term outcomes of children at one of the most vulnerable points in their lives. Five, working to improve policies that improve access to nutritional, healthy, and affordable foods for children, help alleviate hunger, and help children succeed in school by not being hungry anymore. And six, ensuring that federal funds under the American Rescue Plan get spent in ways that will really help children and families most impacted by the pandemic. And then seven, of course, like I said earlier, working to defeat that proposed constitutional amendment that, if it passes, could greatly limit our ability to pass better public policy at the ballot box in the future. Now, achieving these priorities will not be easy, but I'm confident that we can meet the challenges we face and we can build on opportunities that are presenting themselves in the future. But that will only happen if each and every one of you commits to making a difference, if each and every one of us is willing to go the extra mile in engaging policymakers, by making that extra phone call, by sending that extra text and email, and by engaging everyone that we know in those efforts. And it will only happen if, as voters, we encourage child advocates to run for public office, and if we elect state policymakers, regardless of their party affiliation, who will put the needs of children and families first in 2022 and beyond. To do this, we need your help at Arkansas Advocates. Now, one way you can do this, as Ryan said earlier, is to financially support the work of Arkansas Advocates, either through text or writing a check or getting online. So on behalf of the staff on the board of Arkansas Advocates, we greatly appreciate all of you being here today. And at this point, I want to welcome up to the podium AACF Board President Gary Wheeler, who will take us through the home stretch. Gary?
grateful to have this podium to acknowledge the, oh wow, I used to have a script, where to go there? To acknowledge our honorees today, and I'm really, again, like Ryan was, touched by, Rhonda, your comments from the Faulkner quote about letting go of the short. We are in, you know, an unusual period of our lives, and we really need to be able to have that vision to let go and to look forward to doing that. As you know, Arkansas Advocates plays a critical role in advancing opportunities for kids in Arkansas. The work that's been described with our state and our national partners, research-based ideas are critical to make kids and families succeed in this state. One of the purposes today is to try to raise some money to help make sure that that happens. And because of our technical issues, I'm going to ask you to remember as you leave, and while you're sitting downstairs in the DoubleTree parking garage in line, waiting for 20 minutes to get out, you know, you probably got better cell phone service, so remember the text instructions or take your program with you so you can contribute. And we've got about 300 people in here today. If we each gave $25, we would make our target, so try to remember to do that. And again, if that doesn't work when you get home, go to the website. The main thing I want to thank is everybody who's able to give today, and there's lots of ways to give. You can give cash, but you can also give by being aware of the issues that we face. If you are not on Arkansas Advocates email list and you're not getting regular messages and information, please stop at the desk on the way out. Let us get your email so we can keep you informed and so you can be active in your community and pushing forward the things that kids need. I want to thank everybody who's here for just by your presence standing up for the children of our state. Again, I want to thank again the sponsors who stepped up, and you see the identifications on the tables around here. Stop and thank the people who did that. In my closing comments, I want to acknowledge Ryan's facility at being our leader today. Thank you, Ryan, very much. Yeah, it makes me want to go to church. We've got a lot of people here. We've got Ryan, we've got gubernatorial candidate Chris Jones over here. I want to also ask all of you, you've seen some of the legislators who are here today. One of the things you can do that's a critical role is to question our elected officials as they're running for office about their positions on kids. So I need all of you to do that when you have that opportunity when someone seeks your vote. I want to thank again the Arkansas Advocates board members. Many of them travel from Northwest Arkansas, Northeast Arkansas, South Arkansas to come to Little Rock to serve in that role, and it's very important to have their voices, so thank you to all of them. I want you to note the dates of Soup Sunday that are in your program. That's another opportunity for networking. I want to also acknowledge the people who are at home watching this virtually. Thank you for your contribution to Arkansas Advocates and for being present today. So this is going to conclude our program. We've designed this to be as safe as we can around COVID-19. If for whatever reason you don't feel comfortable taking your mask off and sitting around and eating, grab a box, take it outside, or go home and enjoy your lunch. If you're feeling comfortable and you're all vaccinated and boosted, and you know the people sitting around your table, please stay. Let's visit and do everything we can in the future to talk about how to support kids in our state. Thank you all for being here today, and thanks for all of our followers. Fran, where are the box lunches? Are they outside? Yes, I see them right outside. So if you go